This conference will now be recorded.
My name is Ram Seshu. So I'll be an instructor for Salesforce and career writing. So I'm working in Salesforce for past 10 years. I started my career in Salesforce itself. As of now, I'm around 18x certified. I mean, I have completed 18 different certifications in various areas of Salesforce, which includes sales, service, Einstein, field service, and even the architecture certifications as well. So as of now, I'm working as a technical architect, leading around 30 people with multiple projects in an organization. Yeah. So that's all about me. So let's speak about the introduction. So is there anyone who is aware of Salesforce uh, in this batch? Anyone? So today I'm gonna speak about the pretty basics. Like I'll start with the industrial revolution, then I'll speak what is a legacy technology, like how do you build an application in legacy technology, and then how can we compare or how this cloud computing started, and then we'll start speaking about Salesforce so that we can compare your the advantages and disadvantages of Salesforce over your legacy technology, and then we'll speak about the opportunities, the job opportunities, which is very important for you people, and then we'll look at the course content, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. First thing is industrial revolution. So as everyone knows, in late 1700s and early 1800s, we have steam industrial revolution, wherein which your actual trains and all started. Was that you have electrical industrial revolution, wherein which you have your factories, and then in 1900s you have computers, and most of the people are still thinking that we are still in this third industrial revolution, but ideally we are in fourth industrial revolution. What is it about? It's about intelligence. Is that a normal? Is that a human man-made intelligence? No, it's an artificial intelligence. So what are the different examples you have seen? A couple of them. Yep, as the image shows. Alexa, or your mobile phones, like you have Google, you have Siri from App Store, sorry, from Apple, or the simple example is, for example, whenever you want to buy a product in Amazon or Flipkart or by any of these shopping carts, the moment you add or the moment you see a product, the details of the product from this websites, maybe an Amazon or something, and if you're not buying the, even if you're not buying the product, maybe after a day or two, if you open any other social networking websites like your Facebook or LinkedIn, the product, this particular website will show you the same product that you have searched for, whether whenever there is a change in a price or if there is any other variations in the product, all these details will be popped up here and there when even if you open a Facebook. How they are getting it? Is there, are they simply just querying the products? No, they are querying the products based on your interest, based on the search history. So how the systems are able to manage to search the products based on the search history of yours. That is made using couple of analytics tools, and that is what is implemented in fourth industrial revolution. But why do we need to speak about this now? Because Salesforce has already started and they are mostly into artificial intelligence as well. I'll show you a couple of examples as well. Then coming to our legacy platforms. So what is this legacy platforms? Any technology which is pretty much old comes under your legacy platforms. So all these legacy platforms, what will do? Any platform will build an application. And why do we need to build an application? So that one thing is it makes our life easier. The other one is for the person who developed, maybe an organization or an individual developer who is a freelancer, it generates income for him, right? So here, for example, I'll take C as my technology. Let's say I was working on C. A couple of organizations who are still working on this C language or C++. So let us say if they have an idea to build an application, so they can't directly start building the application, right? They have to work on setting up the environment to build the application, like setting up the servers, then install tools to build the application, and then define the user access and check the security of the system and see what all the reporting capabilities that the system is having. Post that, they'll start building the application, correct? And at least I know a couple of my friends who used to work in legacy platforms a couple of years earlier. So what I want to know from them is, once everything is built, user will say that, hey, this application looks good, but can I use a different gadget? Like, can I use the same application in the tab or a mobile? That is where you have to invest again in rebuilding or rebuilding the tool to define the application which is more and more responsive on your mobiles as well. So that is where you will have your web developers, or we'll call them as themers as well. Right? It's an extra investment for the organization, right? So these are a couple of things that you have. Second thing is, the moment you speak about the server, right, like any of these legacy technologies, what will happen is you have to build your own server. So the moment I speak about my own server, what will happen over here? So when I speak about a server will have a user capacity as well, right? It will say, okay, I can handle maximum of 10 users, maybe 100 users or 50 users. Plus, you'll have a data capacity. Now, initially, I was in an assumption that, let's say I built an application. I thought like maybe 100 people will use my application. So just to be on a safer side, I bought a server which can handle maybe around 150 users. So I just kept 50 users as my buffer. So initially, only 50 users started using my application. Slowly, it got popular in the market, and it occupied the full capacity, 150. So it was very good. I'm also happy. I'm getting the huge profits on it. But going forward, as it is becoming more popular, somewhere around 400, 500 people started using my application. And it was good. But the problem is, every user is saying that, hey, Ram, most of the times either your server is hanging out or a couple of times it might crash also. Why? Because the capacity of my server is 150 and the number of people who are hitting my server is 500 at a particular point of time. So during that time, above 150 requests, the server doesn't know, as it's a static server, it doesn't know to whom to respond. That's one of the biggest problems that Indian Railways has faced. Let me see. I think most of you are Indians, right? So if you remember, a couple of years back, at least till 2015, it was a kind of nightmare to book a ticket in railways, right? Especially during the car tickets. Why? Why not now? Why? Because earlier IRCTC is a portal which was built on a static server whose capacity is 50 lakhs till 2015, if I'm not wrong, 2015 or 2014 as well. So during that time, what happened? So yeah, fine. It's the capacity of the server is 50 lakh, but the number of people who are hitting the server from India, even if you take 10% of Indian population, which is 10 crore, out of that, even if you take 10% more in that, just take 1 crore people, which means double the people, I mean, double the capacity of the server people are you hitting it. So that is when, for example, let us say Ram is trying to search to access a system, maybe to book a ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad. So it will take the request during the same time. Indu will hit the server to book a ticket from Hyderabad to Delhi. So during that time, server gets confused and he doesn't know to whom to respond. So during that time, even post the bookings, like during the transactions, most of your transactions are failed. Like when you're giving your credentials of your ATM maybe, or your net banking credentials, or sometimes earlier itself you were not able to book the see the availability itself, right? So that is when people will say it's because of your internet capacity, but it's not actually. It's not about your internet capacity. Even if you have a speed of 150 or 200 Mbps speed in your system, you were not able to book the tickets because there is no clarity what will happen to which user. So that is when, if I'm not wrong, somewhere around 2016 or 17, this was given to Infosys to migrate it to cloud, and this was done. And that is one of the main reasons. Now it is very easy to book a ticket in the railways, just because it was migrated to cloud. Okay. Now, why it's so best? What's the advantage in migration to cloud? So what happens is when you speak about this cloud computing, right? So here you will have uh, you will have a service provider, which means some XYZ person will be having maintaining the server, and they'll say that, hey, if you want to use our service, pay some amount every year based on the agreed license that you're looking for. So let us say I want to build the same as it is a portal on the cloud. I said like, okay, this is what the application I'm gonna build. So I need maybe 500 licenses. So take me this. Then they'll give me a space in their server. They won't give me the entire server. They are just giving me a space inside the server. And they'll say that, okay, in this space, you can use 500 users. If you want to increase the number of users, just let us know and it will be activated in a minute or two. That's it, not more than that. Okay. Now what will happen is, as it is built on some other server, which is maintained by the service provider, and as I'm using cloud computing, in cloud computing, the servers will have a dynamic memory. So what they'll do is they won't directly share the application to the end user. So in cloud, what will happen is they will create an image of your application. Let me just draw an image. Give me a minute. So if I consider this is my server and this is the app, what this cloud computing servers will do is they won't share this application directly to the end users. Based on the request, they'll create a instance which is nothing but an image, and this image will be shared to the end users based on the number of users that are trying to access. There are multiple advantages in doing this. What is the advantage? What if the number of users got increased? Let us say there is no user capacity or some issue is there. So what if the number of users hits? Then all users will hit this image itself or this instance itself. They won't have a direct access to your application. So then if you say that, okay, Ram, if they are not having the access to directly to the application, what will happen? They actually has to access my application, right? Not needed. Image is nothing but, or instance is nothing but, it will have the exact properties, the look and feel of your application. That is what your end user looks for. So for example, in our case, you all feel that I'm speaking with you, but actually I'm speaking with my computer, right? You are in connect with me virtually, not directly. That is what is cloud. So this will connect your cloud servers will connect your application to end users virtually. Now, what if the number of users got increased drastically? Let's say if there is an issue, this image will be crashed, but nothing can happen to your application, neither to our application or your server. Or for example, let us say if I want to increase, when I got enough number of users in back, and let's say the number of users are increased again and again, then what will happen is the same application, the same server will create another image, and this will be shared to the end users directly. You don't have to worry about how it is taken care of, because that is what the for this reason, to maintain this application, you are paying it to the end users, you are paying it to the service providers, and this process will be taken care by your service providers, which means the cloud licenses that you are taking care of. Okay, what if the number of users got decreased suddenly? Then it will automatically remove the server images. Okay, so what is the advantage in going with cloud and without legacy technologies? Here, decreasing or increasing the servers using your legacy platforms includes a lot of investment, right? So if I want to increase the capacity of the servers, either I have to connect an external server CDD with my existing server, or I have to replace the server with a server which has higher capacity. So both of them includes a lot of investment. For example, I have based on the requirements, I kept on increasing the server size to 1,000 people. But suddenly, let us say there is one person called Kishore came to the market who built the same application with a lot many better features than the one that I have built. Then obviously people, the users who are using my application will start migrating to his application. Now, if the number of users fall back to maybe 100 or 200, then I don't have any loss or I don't have any issues during the performance. But the problem is I have invested a lot in increasing the size of the server. The moment I speak about size of the server, I have to speak about the maintenance. I have to speak about the people who are maintaining that. I have to speak about the space that I have given to allocate the server in my organization, or maybe the power bills, or maybe the networking cables. All these things has to be maintained, which includes a lot of investments, right? So basically, financially, I'll go into a loss the moment I speak about their legacy platform. But the advantage in cloud is all these things are taken care by your service provider. You don't have to take that headache. Okay, that is one of the best advantage, and that is one of the main reasons why organizations are shifted to cloud. And in cloud computing, we have three different services. One is infrastructure, platform, and software. What do you mean by infrastructure? So as you can see, so on-premise applications are what your legacy platform. So here, to build an application, you have to take care from end to end. But when you speak about the cloud computing technologies like infrastructure, they'll say you will have a concept called service provider where they'll maintain the servers. Here, what will happen is the service provider will say, hey, if you want to use my license, I'll give you a server, I'll give you a storage space, and I'll maintain this everything. I'll give you the virtualization, all these concepts. The image creation is nothing but your virtualization. And say, I'm going to give you everything, but you have to build your own operating system, or in the middleware to integrate your application with any external system to maintain your own data, and to build, you have to build your own application as well. So is there any good example for this? If you heard about Amazon Web Services, Amazon Web Service runs on infrastructure as a service. Next thing is your platform as a service, a little more comfortable than your infrastructure as a service. It says that you don't have to worry about anything. I'm gonna give you an operating system, and you can easily build an application on our licenses, or on the licenses that you bought from us. but you have to build your own applications and you manage your own data. This is where the first step of Salesforce comes into picture. We have something called force.com license, which is, I would say, one of the commonly used license in all over the organizations, because that is one of the cheapest license. Okay, because there you will get everything and you have to build your own applications. The last one is software as a service, where your Salesforce exactly comes into picture. It says, okay, I'll give you everything, even an application also. They'll say that, okay, I'm giving you an application which are at market standards. If you want to build any application, if you want to use any of these applications, you can use them. Or if you say that, okay, if you feel that I want to customize it, you can customize the existing applications. Or if you feel that I want to build my own application, as you're buying Salesforce licenses, we are giving you the platform as well, which is Force.com platform. This is an inbuilt platform of Salesforce. On top of it, you can build your own licenses, applications as well. Which means in software as a service, you will see the original Salesforce licenses. And Salesforce licenses little costlier. And these are a couple of technologies which are example for each and every platform that we have discussed. Then, so I said Salesforce license is little costlier, but most of the organizations who started using Salesforce, um, they have seen 40% of their profit growth was using Salesforce license. Why? Because of the advantages that you have in Salesforce. You don't have to worry about lot many things, like lot many automation features, all these things which are already there in Salesforce. You just have to use them using point and clicks. And Salesforce has one of the biggest concept called Customer 360, which is something related to your CRM. So what is CRM? CRM is nothing but a customer relationship management, which is not an application, neither a technology. It's just a process which will help you to maintain a healthy relation with your customers. Right? For example, in India, as of now, Amazon is so popular if you compare with any other e-commerce websites. Why? Because I clearly know that if I order a product, very worst case, I can get the product in a week maximum. Most of the things, even I have seen, I mean, at least you may also know, most of the times, whenever you order a mobile, within a day or two, especially when you're in metros, you will get it in a day maximum. Most of the times, right? So, but if you do the same thing in Flipkart, it may or it may not. And second thing is, whenever you see any issues in the product, the service given by other e-commerce websites are little poor. For example, a couple of years back, uh, I bought a shoe. Uh, that's what actually it looked very nice in the website. I brought it, and somehow he gave me a different size. Shoe was good, price was good, everything is good, but size was not working for me. Then what I did, obviously, I have to call the customer care. I have to return it back. That fellow said, "Okay, sir, you just send it back to us." I said, "I'm staying in Bangalore, so you have to come to me. I'm not from any village or something." I said, "No, we cannot." So I have to bear all the courier charges to return it back to him, replace it. But if I do the same thing in Amazon or the best websites like Flipkart and all, I don't have to do this. Second thing, it's not just about the money. To replace the shoe, he took more or less 2.5 months. So even if he is giving me somewhere around 70 or 80% discount next time when I want to buy a shoe or any other product, definitely I won't go to that because of the service that he provided, right? And the way he spoke to me, like whenever I call him, I was not happy with that. They still said that we didn't got the product, all these things. So which means that the moment you are not maintaining a good relation with the customer, right? Now, even if one of my friends or cousins wants to buy a product from that website, definitely I'll say that, hey, you buy this, but not from here, right? Which means he was losing a customer, right? Just because of an existing customer. The moment you speak about any other websites, like especially about your Amazon, any of my friends, if they want to buy something, they'll say, okay, ask, go and search in Amazon because the service was good, right? That is what your CRM says. CRM says that maintain a good relation so that customers will advertise your product, or they'll start speaking about your product with their cousins or friends or someone, so that you will get huge business, right? And Salesforce is expert in this, because most of the inbuilt applications which is given in Salesforce are on your sales service, all these things. Okay, and using your Salesforce, in your Salesforce, I can see the success, or I can see entire sales process. I can see the service, I can see the marketing, and similar to Amazon, you can have e-commerce websites that can be built in Salesforce also, because the license was not that great, but still Salesforce is working on it. And you have analytics, which is nothing but your artificial intelligence comes into picture here. So we have something called Einstein in Salesforce, wherein which it will keep on suggesting the next best actions to the users as well. And we have something called Quip, which helps you for the employee experience, which is more or less similar to your Google Documents. But there is a lot of advantage in using Quip. Then you have industries, like, it's, as we are speaking about customers and all, Salesforce is not just about your CRM. It was used in lot many industries. For example, easily customer in education industry is of course student, but lot many education industries are also using Salesforce, especially the biggest education organizations like Stanford is using, Harvard is using. And coming to banking sectors, most of the biggest banking sectors like Citigroups is the biggest customer of Salesforce in the world. And oil and gas industries. So you have British Petroleum, you have Shell, which is using Salesforce. And when you go to pharma, many organizations are using pharmas, and then you have financial and broking sectors. You have very small organizations also. I actually forgot the name of the industry, but there is one organization from Andhra which I have seen around 7 or 8 months back, just before this COVID effect in India, around January or something, in one of the success meets of Salesforce. I've seen there is one small organization which produces agarbattis. They are using Salesforce. They are running their organization using Salesforce. And they have partner communities, they have success communities. All these things are available in Salesforce, which helps you to build your product, or to make your process automated in Salesforce. Now you say that, is this works only for customers? No. Whenever you have a data which has to be processed in a proper way, we can use Salesforce. We can build any complex business process using Salesforce. And these are the different platforms we have. So it has an inbuilt mobile technology. You can connect with your blockchains. You have Einstein, as I told you earlier, and you have Einstein Visions as well. You can connect with your Alexas for voice searches. You have very good security. When you speak about cloud, right, the first doubt that I'll have is, okay, I'm giving my data to someone else to manage. I myself was not able to manage when I'm using legacy platform. Hackers they were easily able to hack my system and get the data. But how can I trust the service provider? So you don't have to worry about it. Why? Because the best example I'll say is Salesforce started in 99, and it is 2020. It's 21 years, right? Sorry, it's almost 31 years. Till date, there is no news about data breach of Salesforce. And I'll show you the growth of Salesforce, how many people are using it, what is the net worth of Salesforce as well going forward. Okay. And then when you speak about integrations, there is one of the biggest tool, or one of the commonly used integration tool in most of the technologies is MuleSoft, which is acquired by Salesforce last year for 750 million or something. So they are using it's a Salesforce product now, and the integrations are made very easy. Okay, because that is one of the biggest issue in your applications, right? I build an application, but at the end of the day, my application it should be able to speak with any other external systems as well. So that was one of the biggest issue that earlier was everyone is facing. And Salesforce also has the same issue, but they have lot many open APIs where you can connect with any of the external systems. But they made it more easier by getting this MuleSoft. But it's all about the licenses that you're taking. And Salesforce is multi-tenant aware, not just Salesforce, any of the cloud computing, most of the cloud computing technologies. What is this multi-tenant aware? It is about sharing your resources. So when you speak about Salesforce, right? So it's like you are staying in a community. When you speak about a flat in a community, so when I take this flat, I'll have to use a space dedicated for me, right? But I can use all these resources which are common around along the community, right? So which means that yeah, I can use all these resources, but I have to be on my limit. For example, they said like, hey Ram, you can use the swimming pool which is there in the community. Yeah, I can use it, but it doesn't mean that I cannot run a show over there. Like I can ask all the people who are outside the community come and start using my community and sorry, using my use my swimming pool and pay $100 for some half an hour or something. I can't tell it, right? Which means that I have a limitation. Or I can make anything inside this, but I cannot break my wall and go to another flat and start using them. Right? So even in Salesforce also we have some limitations for each and every feature that I'm gonna use. Those limitations are called as governor limits. That is more and more important because the moment you speak about your rights or the accesses that you can take, you should know about your limits also. That is one of the things which is very important in entire Salesforce session, and that we will speak about each and every limitation that we have on each and every feature that we are going to use. Okay. Next thing is now I'll start relating with my first slide, which is that legacy technologies. So there, the moment you get the idea, you have to set up the entire infrastructure. But here, the moment I get the idea, I just have to buy the license and start building my application. That's it. And the best part of Salesforce is the moment I build, so using a couple of point and clicks, I can easily enable either for mobile or for tab, even for a desktop by default. Okay, you don't have to worry too much about, okay, after building the application, do I need to make sure I have to get this mobile application work for mobile as well? Or do I need to hire a developer again? No, not required. There are a couple of layouts which says mobile layout. You just have to click on the checkboxes to activate and drag and drop those columns there. It will take hardly a couple of minutes to define a mobile layout for any application that you build in Salesforce. That's one of the biggest advantage, and that is one of the main reason why lot many organizations are running behind Salesforce. And the other one is, as it is built on software as a service and platform as a service, you don't have to install any application in your system. The moment you have a laptop or any device which has a proper internet facilities, you can start building your application in Salesforce. Okay. And so if you see, this is the approach that you can consider when building an application. So earlier in legacy technologies, like you have to, as you have to set up everything, it used to take around 1 year to build, even if its application is very small. But in Salesforce, we can build the app in just a couple of days or weeks. And so he is the CEO of Salesforce. And so if you see, the main point that he always speaks about is about the trust in the fourth industrial revolution, and that is where actually I think the slide was misplaced. So so that is where the security comes into picture, and that is where I'll say that there is no data breach. But how there is no data breach? So why can't I access? For example, these days when you try to log into your Gmail or Facebook or any of their social networking websites from a new gadget or a new system, it will ask for a verification code even if you are giving your right credentials, right? How this is going to happen? Because of the authentication. And you know what? This authentication was enabled in Salesforce somewhere around 2006. But the other technologies, like even your Google is doing now, but it was there in Salesforce from very long back. Which means even if I know your credentials, I won't be able to log into your system. Second thing, let us say I have logged into your system. How do I export the data? To export the data, I have to connect to some external tools like data loaders or something, therein which I need the credentials again along with a 18 character code, which is very complex called security token that has to be generated every time when you're connecting with your tools. And that is impossible to get it unless until I have access to the mail IDs which was registered with your Salesforce. Okay, that is one of the biggest security systems. Apart from that, inside the application, if I want to build the securities, like let us say I have managers, I have submitters, I have approvers, or I have employees. So each and every person in the organization in the sales within the Salesforce application can be have given multiple accesses, and you can using simple point and clicks you can build a very strong security inside the system. That is also available in Salesforce. Now, um, AppExchange. Okay, who knows about App Store or Play Store? What is it? For example, let us say I want to speak with my friend, or for example, I'm an recently graduated person. I have, let's say, I have 50 friends, or I have 50 classmates in my section. Now, post engineering, definitely you will get very hard time to connect with each and everyone, right? Maybe a couple of group like maybe 10 or 15 people will be connected all the time, but you may not be able to connect with everyone. So now I want to connect all of them in one shot. The best example that I'll do is, okay, I'll go and install WhatsApp in my app store, and I'll start. I'll start adding everyone, because these days there is no person who is not using WhatsApp. At least out of 10 people, at least 8 to 9 people are using WhatsApp, right? So I'll start using it because it is for free. But now, let us say, so it's been 10 years I've completed my education. Now let us say I'm a mobile developer, so I know how to build a very good applications as well. So now, can't I build an application for this chat and install it? I mean, ask my friends to install it from the App Store or the Play Store that I have uploaded and start using that. I can use it. I can do that. But it takes a lot of time for me to build, right? So that is where I'll again go with WhatsApp, even if I know how to build this. Why? Because I have to invest a lot of time and money as well, right? To avoid that, I'll go for an easy solution. And that is where you have your App Store or Play Store, where it will show you all the built-in applications built by different partners or the mobile developers in the market, right? And you know what? Show you one App Store. If you see this, Mark Benioff is the person who owned this App Store concept, and he gifted to Apple, which means this concept is actually owned by Mark, Salesforce. Okay, so this was gifted to the Apple, and Apple started with this word App Store, and slowly it was built by Google as well using another word called Play Store. So the same concept is there in Salesforce also. That is nothing but AppExchange. Like they just have changed the name. and they built something called AppExchange, which runs on top of your Salesforce. Here also the same thing. It's a marketplace where we can just go and based on your requirements, we can just type your requirements there, and you'll see lot many applications are built by different people in the market. And if you are interested, you can start using. For example, my user said, "Hey Ram, I want digital signature." Then there is some application called DocuSign where I can use it. One user said, "Hey, I want to generate PDFs on couple of clicks." Then we have something called Conga Composer. Or someone said like, "Hey, I have built I have completed my sales and everything is completed, or I have built my service process also. So I'm using it from past 1 year. Now I would like to take the feedback from my end users. What should I do?" There are a couple of inbuilt applications called Mail SurveyMonkey or Survey Gizmo. All these are AppExchange products. They can start using it. And as like your App Store or your Play Store, a couple of them will be free and a couple of them will be charged. Okay, but again, there is an advantage here in using your applications of your App Store or of your Salesforce AppExchange. What is it? So either in your App Store or Play Store, let us say if I want to build an application, I built it and I can simply upload it in either of these domains. Now, let us say if people like Indu or Kishore wants to use it, they'll use it. And let's say if the application is not working properly, they'll just delete it. That's it, right? Which means I can upload anything. But coming to your app exchange, especially in Salesforce, here I cannot upload anything, any application that I build blindly into this. So we have a team called AppExchange in Salesforce, which will verify each and every minute detail. It speaks about security or the user interface, especially on your idea. Each and everything will be monitored and will be verified properly, and if they feel that everything all these test cases were passed from their end, then only they'll say that we will upload this into the system. And you don't have to market about your product. You will they themselves will do it. And the best advantage is you don't have to look for your clients. The moment you build it, if your idea is really worthy, people will start definitely using it. Okay, and I know a couple of organizations who are blindly running their organization from past 4 years just after building one single app exchange product. They just built one product, that's it. But they are happily running their entire organization. Maybe the organization are a little smaller, like they have around 50 employees, but running an org with 50 employees during this COVID lockdown period with just based on one single application is very tough, and they are happily doing it. Why? Because of the securities that is provided in Salesforce and the number of people who have started using this. For example, if you see the screenshot I took somewhere around late 2019, if I'm not wrong. So during that time, you have 5 million installs, 5 million users are using this app exchange. Sorry, it's not about 5 million users. So definitely it will be more than that. Why? Because the installation is taken care just for one organization, one Salesforce org, which means more than 5 million Salesforce orgs are using it, which means under one org, you might have 10,000 or 50,000 users as well. Okay, now you can imagine the count of number of users using these applications. Apart from that, by then we have already 4,000 more than 4,000 applications that are already inbuilt, which means if I want to use an application or if I want to use Salesforce, I might have to define everything from the scratch or see if there is anything available in Sales in the app exchange. I can simply install it and use it according to my requirements. That's the best thing. Now, why should a company waste too much of time in rebuilding everything right from scratch? You can simply use it, right? But it doesn't mean that you will get the entire application. You will see the connecting points of your application. For example, during my application process, I want to generate documents. So I'll go with Conga Composer. That obviously that amount of time that will take you to build the PDF definer will be not less than 6 months. But using this, it will be done in a minute, right? But rest of the application will be built from you. So that is how people are using. Okay. Next thing is it's about the economy. So actually, this picture is wrong. So see, as per, and I've seen one news around 1.5 months back. So as per Salesforce assumption, they are, it's very clear that by 2022, they are going to generate 4.2 million jobs all over the world, out of which major part is from India. Somewhere around 30-35% is from India. And this is how the Salesforce growth was there. So as I told you earlier, so Salesforce started in 1999. And if you see here, lot many organizations were acquired. And I just made it till 2016. So I didn't got the updated sheet. After that, they have drastic growth that I'll show you as well. And these are lot many partners who are working on the Salesforce licenses for their customers. And you can see all bigger organizations in the world. I think Blue Wolf is one of the biggest organizations who works mainly on Salesforce, and this was acquired by IBM very recently, 2 years or 3 years back. So, which means IBM is also a part of it. Next thing is this is the growth scale. Growth scale. As of now, in 2020, early 2020, it was $17 billion company, but 2000 mid of 2020 it was $17.5 billion company. I think first quarter of 2020, and this is more than your Oracle actually. And the projection is that by 2024 they are going to double their annual profits. So why am I speaking about this? You don't have to learn all these things, right? Why do I need this? Because a simple note is, see, if the if the organization that I'm working for is growing, then I will also grow only if I'm there in that organization. But if the technology that I'm working in is growing, which means that I can grow wherever I go, any organization who's using Salesforce, right? That is where you have lot of demand in Salesforce. Right now, for a person who is having 5 years of experience in Salesforce, are getting not less than 12 lakhs in the market. 12 lakhs is very minimum amount for a person who has 5 years of experience. Now you can compare this with in any other technologies, at least most of the technologies. And if you know, I think I don't have that. So there is something called Gartner scales, which will measure the capacity or the popularity of the technologies all over the world. And Salesforce is there at top almost from past 3-4 years. Okay. Then about course content. So in this session, we are going to give you on two things. One is admin, and the other one is development. So admin is mandatory to learn the development, but the definition of admin in Salesforce is completely different when you compare with the definition of admin in any other technology. Why? Because in Salesforce, admin is not just a person who will manage the users. He is the person who can build the application. He is the person who can define your objects or call or fields or your security systems. Or he is the person who can write the automation rules as well. He is the person who can generate the reports also, which means using the admin for concepts, I can build an end-to-end application in Salesforce easily. Okay, and as I'm defining everything using point and clicks, there are some limitations, especially on the user interface, right? So to overcome those limitations, you'll go with the development, wherein which here you need some prerequisites. If you note, I didn't speak about any prerequisites for admin. You don't have to learn any technology to learn the admin. But when you speak about development, you should be aware of couple of a couple of languages like object-oriented programming. At least you should be aware of the concepts, which I'll again help you out how to do that and what are those and what are the best documentation you have to follow. So very basics. like what is an object, what is a class, what is a method, how do I invoke a method, what are the access modifiers like public, private, global, and a basic HTML documentations, like what is a node, how I start a tag, how do I end it, all these things. So if you're aware, then we'll start about the development as well. And here in development, you'll speak about all the limitations of your admin and then how to overcome them in the development features. Okay, this is a place where you'll define your custom screens, custom automation. We can write some custom automation rules. Everything can be written over here. Okay, this is what I'm gonna discuss. And are we just going to take the sessions like this every day, like just speak about the concept, close the sessions, and slowly complete all the sessions at the end, give you a project documentation, ask you to just discuss about the project for 2 days and close the session? Right from the day one, we will start building an application right from scratch. For example, if you ask me, hey Ram, how do you want to propose as you are working as Salesforce architect in an organization for many years, how you are going to implement this application? So what I'll do is, first, whenever I get a customer to speak, or whenever I speak with my business to build an application which they are looking for, first of all, I'll understand what is their process. Second thing is, I'll see what are the pros and cons in it. Then I'll see whether my Salesforce fits into that or not. So as I'm a Salesforce person, I cannot simply say that, hey, I can build everything. First of all, I should see whether Salesforce is feasible technology to build a solution or not. If everything is yes, then I'll say I'll give a rough sketch of the application. This is how your application will be, a rough schema. I'll say you will have this many tables. In this case, each table you can capture this information, and then slowly we'll process it. Slowly, then you'll start speaking about your agile process where you'll have multiple sprints. Each and every sprint will add one feature slowly, and at the end, we will build a proper product and give it to the end users. We will do the same thing even in the sessions also. So we'll take one simple example, discuss about it, an example which every one of you understands, discuss about it, what that application does. For example, we can take any education industry or any marketing industry, or for example, this career ID itself, like how they process, how they reach out to their customers, or which means the students, and how they connect with the trainers, how this process will be done. This can be implemented in Salesforce. All these things we will discuss, and then maybe it might take hardly 15 to 20 minutes because just it is an overall an overview, and then slowly we will build a schema, because now here in this example we are very clear that we have to go with that. So we'll build a basic schema the first session in an Excel. I'm just speaking about Excel. Okay, post that we'll start defining the same Excel sheet as a Salesforce application. Why? Because everyone is much aware of say Excel, right? Because there's one of the tools that I love because I can do most of the things, but there are some disadvantages also. But for example, if Microsoft has decided that maybe after 10 years, definitely not now, because they have a lot many products to work on. If they feel that, hey, Excel is very good, but there are a lot many things that I can automate, and if they build an all automation tools on the Excel, and if they release it to the end users, right, then the tool that Salesforce or then Excel will look like Salesforce. Salesforce is fully packed automated Excel tool, I can say, with even with securities and other automations as well. Okay, so that is one of the best advantages. So that is why it'll say I'm saying that we will build a simple schema on the Excel, and we'll define the same application in Salesforce, and we'll start automating. So every feature that I'm going to discuss, we'll try to bring the same scenario in this application, whatever is there in this list, right? Each and every feature will be discussed as one of the scenario in our application, and we'll see how do I apply that. I mean, how do we apply that in the application, and so that you will have a real-time example and a fully built application right from end to end by end of our sessions. Along with that, you will have you don't have to go with documentation. The moment I speak about documentations, right? Like anyways, you might be getting them, but the problem is uh, when I at the end, if I just give you a project document, definitely at least like if there are 10 people in the session, 5 people may not get time. It's not about you ignore it. You may not get time to reach in each and everything. But if I make sure that you are doing it in your own Salesforce docs, by the end, you don't need the documentation. You know the end-to-end procedure. You know how these validations are written. In which cases you're automating it. In which case you're restricting it. In which case you're restricting the access of the user. Everything will be memorized. You can remember easily. Next thing is, at least in the admin part, mostly one of you will be sharing the screens so that we can practice during the session itself, so that you will have one fully built application in your own tools. And the same time, that when you people are screening sharing your screens, right, so the sessions will be a little slower, but you will be more comfortable, because the moment I started sharing the screen, it doesn't mean that I'm so fast and all, but as I'm aware of navigating between screens, right? So it might be little faster for you when you started it, right? That is where I'll ask one of you to start sharing your screens to build the things right from scratch. Because when you're new, right, it's like learning a car driving. Simple. When I start learning the car driving, initially it was very difficult for me. When my trainer says, "Hey, press the clutch," I used to press on. I used to press brake instead of accelerator. Sometimes I used to raise the accelerator. Sometimes I might hit some others, right? So same thing you will have here also. Like if I ask you to open one screen, definitely you'll open another screen. Then I'll say, okay, there is a difference between this and that. So it might take a little longer, but still fine, because the end of the day, it's not about completing the course. It's about how quick, I mean, what all the things that you are taking home is what matters. And I'll make sure that will be there. And at last, even if you're not practicing a single after the session, I'll make sure if someone asks you a question at the end post the sessions, right, you will be sure that okay, using this concept I can give a better solution. Why? Because every requirement, any technology will have a minimum of 3 4 solutions. Same way in Salesforce as well. Any requirement can be sorted in 3 different ways or 4 different ways. So what makes you the difference between you and the other person is how best is your solution. In that way, post the trainings, you will be definitely seeing a difference between you and your colleague who is not in our sessions. Like why, let us say for example, we have tools like process builders, workflows, and flows. So all these 3 tools helps you to automate the business process. They'll help you to update, or they'll help you to send an emails. So in which case, which tool has to be used will be discussed. And you will be definitely like when your manager or your seniors or even in your interviewers, if they give you a scenario, right, you'll say that, okay, this has to be done using workflow only. This cannot be done using any other tool. Why? Because these are the reasons. This is how confident you will be definitely post the sessions. Okay. And then maybe tomorrow I'll tell you how to get the license in Salesforce and how do we start building the applications. Uh, we'll see. We'll see what are the screens that are available in Salesforce. How do we navigate? What are the different applications that are available? All these things also we'll discuss. Okay. Post that, we'll start building the application. Any questions till now?
Yeah, Ram here. Hello.
Yeah.
So, are you going to cover the Salesforce administration as well as we have something called CPQ and all, right? Do we have
CPQ is not a
configuration?
part of session. That is completely a different course. So I'll
Okay.
speak about, if you want to do that, you can speak the consultancies like that as well. But this session is for both admin and, so I'll discuss about sales process and service process as well, but not CPQ at least in this sessions, because it's completely a different course actually.
And you will be covering that lightning whole
Yeah,
thing, right?
everything is on
Lightning
lightning
expert.
only.
Okay.
Yep, sorry. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding. Everything is discussed only on the lightning screens, not on the classic. So for the people who are not aware of lightning and classic, Salesforce has two different lightning, two different versions. One is lightning and the other one is classic. Classic is one of the oldest versions of the Salesforce. Somewhere they started building this lightning application somewhere around 2015. 99 companies are not using classic versions, they are on lightning itself. I'll show you how to go to classic. The only difference is the user interface and couple of automation rules. But as lightning is the most widely used version, we'll discuss about lightning, and I'll help you how to migrate, because there are a couple of questions that people will ask is, okay, I have built an application in classic, now I want to build now I want to migrate that to lightning, what should I do? So we'll see that how to migrate the applications as well, because even if you are not using it, you should know how to use it, where to use it, in which all cases we can speak about the migration, all right? So those things also will be taken. Okay.
And what about Apex programming? Are you going to
That
cover that?
comes under development. Yeah, that will be there in your development. So development is all about the user interface and the server calls. So user, and the moment you speak about user interface, it's all about your Lightning components. And when you speak about server actions, it's all about Apex. So in Apex, you have multiple things like your triggers. As you are not clearly aware of the technology, I'm not going in deep dive. So you will speak about, I'll speak about the triggers. I'll speak about synchronous Apex, asynchronous Apex, and we'll speak about how do I write test classes, what do you mean by test classes, what are the ways to write a test class, and what are the different environments or different editors that we can utilize them, utilize to write these classes and all. And we'll see how to deploy this application from the development environment to production, and what all the errors you might get during the deployments, which is very, very important, and how to overcome that. All these things also will be discussed. Okay.
Is there anything around on Einstein is something is introduced newly, right?
Yeah, so those things, as I said, those are completely different licenses, and these are like sessions like field service lightning, CPQs, Einsteins. All these things are considered as a different course. And in this session, I'll speak about the development and integrations as well, and on the admin part, not CPQ, not Einstein, not marketing clouds, not field service line. Okay.
How long this particular course will take? Like how many
Around 40,
days?
45 days.
45 days. Is it only on weekdays?
Mostly yes. So that the session timings and all, you can speak with
Okay, okay,
Kaya.
okay, okay. Fine.
Any other questions? Anyone else? Akhil, Kishore, Sam, Pinkat, Vasu, Hindu, Krishna.
So basically, using Salesforce, we are going to build the apps, right? Like for a company, right?
Yes. For example, okay, I'll give you a couple of examples. What are the application that we can build? For example, when you speak about banking sectors,
Mm-hmm.
how do I open an account in a bank? So, if, or for example, I want to take a loan in the bank. So, what should I do? I have to call one other person. They'll take the application, and then they'll say that we are processing your application, right? Because they have lot in giving you a loan. It doesn't mean that I'll just take your payslip and give it to you next day, right? It takes something. I should make sure whether you're really working in the organization. What is your salary? With your salary, will you be able to clear the loan? All these things I have to calculate, and I have to verify whether your working mail ID, all these things are correct. So this takes some time for the organization to verify, right? And at the same time, I have certain processes to go through within the bank, right? So this entire process, like maybe I have to, let us say, your salary is 1 lakh. With your salary, I can give you a maximum of 20 lakhs. As I assume, I can give you a maximum of 20 lakhs. Now, you are asking that, hey Ram, can you give me 25 lakhs because I am in a need? I said, okay, I'll try. So my limit, which my boss told me that I can give 20. But as you're looking for 25, which is not there in my access, I should ask for an approval from my manager, right? Because he is the person who can give maximum up to 50 also. If he decides, like if he feels that thing is okay. So for that, when I ask him to approve, they'll say that, okay, ask Kishore if he can provide any surety. So all these clauses will comes into picture, right? So how these things can be automated in your process. So those things, all these things can be done easily in Salesforce. So for getting this approval, I have to send an email, I have to talk to him. Nothing is required in Salesforce now. Just using point and clicks, we can make sure. Okay. Or for example, when you speak about these travel agencies, like one of the popular one in India is Redbus, who's using Salesforce actually. So because they are one of the strategic partners or something. So they are using Salesforce. How come travel agency using a travel agency using Salesforce? Yes, they are. How? So because they also have the customers, they also have their partners who are this sub travel agencies, or you have a lot many other buses, all these things, right? So how they are getting that information and how these details are filled automatically, all these things also will discuss. Okay. So any other
Yes.
questions?
Okay.
Are you going to teach how to develop the lightning components as well, or just the classic?
No. That's what I said. Like, it's not about classic. We'll discuss each and everything in every minor detail about lightning. We'll see
I
how
see.
so in the development, we will build the applications. We'll show it to the end users. I mean, how it looks for an end user. All these things. So development, I'll speak about each and every minor detail. But that is the reason I said, like, when we start development, you should be aware of minor web technologies like HTML, JavaScript, and all. And along with when you're speaking about Apex, we'll speak about the triggers or batch Apex, schedule Apex, test classes, queuable Apex, future, all this.
So what if we don't? I mean, what if we don't have any idea about the HTML because we are from non-IT background? So
In the introduction, I'll tell you. It's just about starting a tag and ending a tag. Don't worry. I'll.
okay,
When,
sure.
so I said, like, you don't have to know each and everything. You just have to know a very basic idea. That's it. I'll give you
Okay.
I'll give you time as well, along with some assignments. Like once the admin is done, when we start that development, so generally what will happen is most of the sessions people will say that, hey Ram, you just completed admin today. Can we take a break of 1 or 2 days? I'll give you a day or some day or two, but I'll say, okay, let us have an introduction session about the development. So during that development introduction, I'll tell you like what all the things that we might need when we start the development. Along with, I'll discuss about some of the concepts. And then during that time, I'll provide you the information like where you can get those information. For example, like if you know what is this W3 schools, that is one way, one best way of learning your HTML, because there you can practice as well. It's just a website. You don't have to install anything. So likewise, couple of website details I'll give you where you can practice, and you hardly have to spend 30 minutes before we start the actual development. That's it, not more than that. Okay. Not every day, just before we start the development course, you might have to spend 30 minutes, not more than that. First that anyways, I will be giving you lot many assignments every day. So during that, you'll be nurtured.
So Ram, are there any roles just for the admin?
Sorry?
Are there any roles just for the admin, like without doing any development?
Okay, a very good question. So one thing which is very important is I forgot to mention um certifications which you have to do for sure for the course with Salesforce. So the course completion certification of the institutes is not valid in Salesforce. You have to do a direct certification with Salesforce, which says admin, development, consultants, all these things. So using this course, you can do, it's not me, you can do a certification either on Salesforce admin or Salesforce development, because that is what you are going to learn mainly. So once you are certified admin or once you are certified developer, you can apply for jobs in the market. And when you speak about the roles, you'll have multiple roles in many organizations. Admin, you'll have admins, you have developments, you have consultants, you have Salesforce business analyst as well. But I prefer going for the development. Why? Because if I'm a developer, I should know all pros and cons of my admin. Okay. And for development, admin is mandatory. It doesn't mean that you will learn both the courses. But if you go to the market as an admin, then definitely you will have lesser priority when you compare with the person who is having both admin and development knowledge, who is another competitor for you. Why? Because the moment I see a developer, I can use him either as an admin or developer because he knows both, right? And now if you say, hey Ram, I'm very poor in the defining this classes and all, so what should I do? So for that, you better complete both the courses. Okay. And there is another role called business analyst who should be having an idea of providing a solution. That is where I said in any in the start of the session, I said that post the sessions, I'll make sure you will be very clear about the solution or the concept that you have to use to provide the solution for the end user, right? So what is the advantage over there? So for example, if I'm a business analyst and client asks me something, hey Ram, can you do this in Salesforce? And I'll say that okay, let me talk to my developers, check with them whether it's feasible or not, and I'll take 1 or 2 days break. I'll go back to my developers, explain the situation, and get the solution from the developers, and then go to my this team, the end user team, and they'll provide the solution. So this is how earlier it was working, and most of the technologies are still following the same thing. But these days, business is saying that, hey, we came to Salesforce to speed up the process. Now, just because of RAM, this is slowing down more and more because he's taking requirements here, taking 1 or 2 days break, and speaking with the developers, and on the next day he's speaking about the solution. Can't we speak directly with the developers so that I'll get the end user solution directly, right? Because Ram don't know anything about Salesforce. So that is where people are looking for Salesforce business analyst. So as a BA, I should go to my developer only to speak about how the solution can be used. That's it. It's not about what features I have to use, all these things. I just have to say whether it can be done or not done, cannot be done with the end users. Just to discuss this, and if I'm taking 2 days or 3 days break, right? People are not ready to take those business analysts. And that is where we have a role called BAs in Salesforce BAs in the market. He is the person who won't write any logics, but he is aware of both the features. So knowing the feature, implementing the feature is quite different, right? So to know the feature, you have to, if you know the feature, you will become a business analyst. And if you implement the feature, then you will be considered as a developer as well. So from the business analyst, you can go to a solution architect level. But if you are a developer and you are looking for a next level, you can go for a technical architect.
Yeah, okay. Ram, I have one question. Actually, suppose I'm going to do a startup company. Like I'm going to start a new company. So for my company, like whatever like the website that I need and the user profiles and all, right? So that's when I subscribe to Salesforce. Is that the whole purpose? Like I just want to understand like
Uh,
how it
okay,
works.
it's not about starting a company. Salesforce is all about automating your business process, right? Any company don't need it. Okay, the application, the processes you are gonna implement needs your Salesforce, because the organizations, like if you take bigger organizations, so even now also SAP is their core database. Okay, so you don't have to maintain your database, entire database in your Salesforce itself. It's good if you maintain, but you don't have to if you're pretty old in the market. Okay, why? Because you have invested a lot on your SAP servers or any other servers to maintain all your data. Just because you want to migrate, you don't have to waste the servers, right? Instead, you can maintain all your applications. And as let's say if you are there from 50 years in the market, or maybe 10 years from the market, you'll have lots and lots of data. And couple of them you don't need Salesforce, because even if Salesforce, even if Salesforce helps you to automate your entire business process, it is costlier as well, right? It's not that cheap, right? So if you're already having an infrastructure, maintain your data there, and to whatever users. For example, if I'm using, if I have 100 employees in my organization, all these 100 employees don't need Salesforce, right? Maybe let us say I have a peon in the organization. You don't need Salesforce, correct? His job is something different. Or I have a security system, security people in the organization. They don't need Salesforce. Use the Salesforce licenses only for the people who actually needs it, so that you can save some investment as well. So that is what one of the biggest challenges that you'll see. Like, do I need to use it for all over the organization, or do I need to use it only for the people who needs it? But I'll go with the second option. Only for the people who needs it will be shared the user licenses, because every license that I'm consuming, I have to pay something. So for example, I think one of the licenses that most of the people use is $25 license, which is Force.com license. So for bigger organizations, it will be very less because of the partnerships that they have in Salesforce. Let's say if you are the new person, the ideal rate that they'll say is, hey, Kishore, if you want to use Force.com license, you pay me $25 per user per month. Now consider if you have 50 people in the organization, and if you want to start your organization with Salesforce completely right from scratch, 50 into 25 into 12 is what you have to bear for every month, which if you consider for a smaller organization, it might be the annual income as well, right? So no need to waste that huge amount on this. So use it only when required. That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Uh, is Salesforce support telecom industry based application? Like I have a sales service
Yes.
and
So
my
in
sales includes of
Salesforce, you have so there are AppExchange products where, for example, these days, for example, let us say uh, in Amex or yeah, as I said, Citigroup. So Citibank is using Salesforce. Now, let's say I'm using Citibank credit card. So there was some transaction which was misused. Uh, Now I will raise a complaint. So to raise a complaint, obviously I have to call the customer care. The moment I call the customer care, they'll ask my credit card number. Based on my number, they'll get the entire transactions of mine, even if I start using the card from past 3 years. Right? How they're getting? They'll just have a global search a search bar called global search. The moment they add their external IDs, maybe my name or my email ID, come couple of personal details, then they'll get in everything. And most of the people feel that okay, for security purpose, they're asking you the question, but actually to make the to refine their searches, they'll ask you for all these options like your date of birth, all this. And next thing is, let us say they want to call you to extend your credit card limits or something. So it's not like, okay, I will see the screen because Salesforce has to be used. You have to use some screens to see the application data and all. So let's say when you speak about call center, they'll have a system. So on in front of me, I have a system. I'll see Kishore's phone number. Now I have to call Kishore. What I'll do, I have to take my mobile, type the number, and call him. But I have a target from my manager saying that, hey, call 500 customers. Obviously, it's impossible. You cannot. But still, that's the target I have given. So then each and every second that I'm spending on the system on the customer matters, right? So we have tools like we have some AppExchange products where we can connect with Salesforce, like where you when the moment you install, right? The moment I see Kishore's number, if I click on that, I can connect with my telephone device and then I can call immediately. Those features are available in Salesforce as well. But that comes with payable AppExchange products. So those are you don't have to build all of them. All of them, those are already available in the market. Okay.
Yeah.
But the point is, you should know how to use it, how to install it, how to use it, how to give a knowledge transfer to an end user. For that, you should know what is Salesforce, how do we define it, all these things.
That Salesforce support, okay, since you're not covering that product modeling and all, right? Uh, sales mod
Salesforce has that.
we are
So
covering
we'll discuss about how to install an AppExchange and how to, use that. But the tools that you asked, right? Those are not free AppExchange. Those are not free products. So unless until you pay, you cannot use them. And there are a lot of limitations comes into picture when you start using your free editions, right? So you have login limitations, you will have space limitations, all these things.
okay. We have free there is something called Trailblaze, right? Where we can actually
Yes,
go
but
on.
there also the amount of data that you can consume within your org is very limited. It see this accounts, the Trailblazer accounts which you are going to create will help you to learn Salesforce. They won't help you to install all these applications, right? Because the main point there is like how to make sure a person learns the technology. It's not about how to make sure the person uses the technology in your application. They see very simple here. Like they are giving you all these trial versions just to practice. Why? So that you'll get to know the taste of these tools. Right? If I allow you to use everything, then why will I go for an original license? There should be some difference, no?
Okay. And what will be the certification duration? Like if I got certification in admin, so how long it is valid?
I think every quarter you have to maintain, but you don't have to pay anything. It's for free of cost. Like you will have some questions that should be answered every some badges you have to complete. So it's for every quarter.
Okay, that
If you
is to
maintain
make
that,
sure that you are up to date with the recent
yeah,
changes, right?
yeah, just to make sure, yeah, yeah. Because Salesforce has multiple releases in a year. So every year, every release, they'll ask you to maintain that. So it's not a
Okay.
big deal.
You don't need to give like after 1 year. Suppose AWS, right? That is valid for 3 years. Like again,
No,
you
no,
have to
no.
reattempt the
Yeah,
exam.
it's not like that. Like after 2 years, your certification will be expired. You have to revisit. Nothing is required. So it's like you just go there, maintain your certification without paying anything. But initially, yes, you have to pay. The certification amount is $200. If I'm not wrong, when you are registering, I'll try to give you a discount voucher as well, which comes somewhere around $100.
Is it 200 every time or only the first time we have to pay 200?
First attempt 200, from the next attempt there's 100. So I think
Okay.
you can give 3 or 4 per certification. Above that, they'll cancel your subscription or some rule is there. But within first or second attempt, you will be able to clear it.
Okay.
And post the session within 1 week, you can clear the certification. That is for sure.
Okay. Any placement assessment will be given, and are there any people
That
placed on
those
Salesforce?
discussions you have to speak with the consultancy. I'm not the right person. Sorry.
No. What? Okay, you are not aware of such. Okay.
I mean,
I
so
will.
you are with the consultancy,
Since,
right? Like you have to speak with the career IT office.
okay, since how like how many sessions experience you have here? Like how many batches?
Okay. So if you ask me, I don't remember the batches, but I trained not less than 1,000 people.
Okay.
Because training is just a hobby for me. So I've started on third year of my Salesforce career. It's been more than 7 years. So I do give corporate trainings as well. So from past 7 years, I'm doing it along with my job that I'm working on. So it's just a kind of part time. So that is why the number is very less, just 1,000. And so if I dedicatedly, why this is my full time, then like the way if you see the Hyderabad institutes, right? So that the number will definitely.
Okay. Fine. So for lightning, right, there are so many things to get good expertise on lightning component. Okay. So is it definitely required to know the advanced level of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, React, or something like that to
It's
get a
good to know.
good uh, the advanced topics
I
of
mean,
these web?
see, if you are aware of them, then it's good to know. That's it. It's
Okay.
I'm not. I'll speak about only the things which you require to learn the things. I'm not saying that you don't have to learn. Like if you are learning all those advanced concepts like HTML5, CSS, all those things, then it's good.
Yeah, I have some knowledge, but I don't have knowledge on Angular and React. So do we use
Angular is
them
not required. We don't have Angular JS and all here. It's not required.
only up to JavaScript? That's
Yeah. If you're aware of JavaScript, that should be.
okay. Okay, fine.
So about
Thank
the
you.
timings, session details, like whether it is on weekdays or weekends, or about the free structure, or if anything related to placements or something, all these things you can check with the consultancy itself. I'm here only to just help you out to just be aware of the basics
No,
of
I'm
using.
not. I'm not asking about placement. I just asked about like if anyone got placed. Like,
Okay,
are you
people
aware?
who I trained.
Yeah. That's what I asked. I'm not asking for
Okay.
placement.
Okay. So it's been 7 years, right? Definitely, there will be a good number. I was in touch with to 200 plus people who are in a very good positions. Especially, I train people from US and Canada and
Okay.
India as well. So I know the people who are already working in Salesforce, directly in Salesforce companies as well who I train.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As we already into that. So, go.
Okay. So one question that I have seen is this only for beginners? I mean, so is this only for experienced people or only for even for beginners as well? So as I said, I'll start from right from scratch. So which helps even a beginner to understand, and slowly we'll increase the concepts, or will increase the complexity in the application, and we'll start speaking about the advanced concept. And second thing is the way I train, even if it is a software technology. Actually, I'm not from a software background. I'm an electronics student. I know how I learned Salesforce when I started my career. I used to break the things and then learn the things, and I was very comfortable. And somehow I feel like if I became an architect, definitely anyone can learn Salesforce easily. And I'll make sure, as I am a backbencher, I'll make sure the person who doesn't know anything about Salesforce or doesn't know anything about software languages will understand everything, the concept that we are going to discuss. And course content, yeah, this more or less this will be the course content, but honestly, this will be the last session where I'll share this course content. So I'll be mainly concentrating on the certification that you are supposed to do, and I'll be mainly concentrating on the interviews as well, which because main reason that you have came with the session is to get a job as well. So that's what the main thing is. So I know what kind of questions, like what kind of quiz that you'll have in the interviews, because I am into the panel. I'm in the interview panel in one of the organization, which is one of the biggest organizations in the world itself, from past 4.5 or 5 years. So I'll help you in that way as well.
And one last question: how difficult it is for a person who is currently working on Siebel CRM?
Okay, see, process is same. Only thing is the look and feel, the technology, technical concepts will differ. Process will be the same. There in Siebel CRM, you are using CRM. In Salesforce, you'll use CRM only. But the technical terms will differ a bit. That's it. That's the only difference.
Okay.
And most of the people who are working in Siebel migrated to Salesforce. Not
Yes.
many people.
Yes. And the projects also.
Yeah, even the projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anyone?
No.
Okay. If not, we can drop off. So thanks everyone for spending more than 1 hour with me today. And I
Thank
hope
you.
you got at least 5% or even 1% awareness of what is Salesforce and what are we gonna learn in Salesforce. Maybe I may or may not be the instructor. I mean, but at least you get to know like what are the things that you have to look when you want to learn Salesforce. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ramgaru.
Bye. Bye.